Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful guest today is Joy Hoath. We're going to be talking about joy in your business. Are you living a joy-filled life? Are you leading your business in a joy-filled manner? It's really important that you do bring joy to your work, to every aspect of your life, because that really will change your clientele and how you do your business and everything about how you present yourself. So she is on a mission to fulfill the vision of joy-led world share, starting with women and business leaders. She says that affectionately known as Joy, she is affectionately known as Joy because she's always so joyful due to the energy that she embodies in her work as a joy-filled leadership mentor. Her why is for her work is a personal mission to fulfill that vision of joy-led world, starting with women as business leaders. As joy is a level of consciousness, almost to enlightenment, it opens us up perspective and possibilities and pathways not available elsewhere. And where you are more effective and satisfied in the end results. It is this joy framework that you can, in essence, have a spiritual superpower when you know how to harness it, ultimately choose it. And as you choose joy, positive living, it can be profoundly illuminating for you and everyone around you, and the ripple effect really does take hold. I absolutely 100% agree with that, because I say we always are we are our business. So it doesn't matter what we're doing. People have to buy us before they buy from us. And if you're coming from that state of real joy in what you do and what you stand for and what it is that your service or product is, people are so much more inclined to want to know, what is it? Welcome to the show, Jan Joy. I'm going to call you Joy throughout this. Forget about the Jan.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. And thank you, everyone in the audience who is tuning in for this sure to be exciting conversation. I am thrilled to be here to bring joy to the conversation and then kind of see what we get to uncover together.
Yes.
Because there is such magic. Even before we went live, Sarah and I were having a little chit chat, and we're talking about like the energy, the vibration, the environment is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of want to dive in from that standpoint that, it's not what you do, it's
Yes.
fill in the blank, everybody, how you do it. And if you are
Exactly.
in that joy vibration, you are more influential, impactful, and you are more attractive
Mm,
to the
mm.
people and the opportunities that are going to serve you. I want to even say that's how I met Sarah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was so delighted to be speaking on a summit, and Sarah reached out to me and said, "Come play."
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
it's because I was in that energetic
Mm,
state of joy and wanting to illuminate the possibilities and the energy. And I know that that's
mm.
what brought us together, if I can
Yes.
humbly say.
Oh, 100%. It's like, I kind of call it when Harry met Sally, I'll have what she's having, right? You're like, oh, I want some of that energy. She's got to come on here and share. In and anguish and doom and gloom. And it's very hard for people to kind of step into this joyful manner. And it's not that we're kind of rose-colored glasses of being la-la. It's what we choose to
100%.
feed. We're fully aware of what challenges there are in life or what's going on in the world. But if we put our energy there, then that's going to grow. When we choose to put our energy into love, light, compassion, kindness, consideration, we become creative. And in that invitation, that inspiration, we become the invitation that others want to be a part of. Because being joyful is invitational, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, that's one of my words too. Yes, it's completely an invitation, and underlying that, it's permission.
Yes.
It's a generation and an energy of co-creation, collaboration that comes organically. I would say
Hmm.
even like on a soul level, that
Yeah.
our souls were playing together already, saying,
Mm.
let's make this an expanded conversation to invite everyone into, because you're very, very right, Sarah. I'm very much with you in the sense that we have a very polarizing, contrasting life experience right now at the time that we're in. And absolutely, I'm not about just the happy, happy, joy,
Yeah.
joy. And I
Yeah.
kind of feel like it's important to go there right away too,
Hmm.
to acknowledge, if you're just tuning into the audio, I have a painting behind me that has rainbows, but there's
Hmm.
also women surfing.
Yeah.
And the I love that image because for multiple reasons. I like to say I'm backed by rainbows, and part of my work, and actually a large part of my work, is around a process I created, divinely dropped into me,
Mm.
called the happiness prism. So I'm about the idea of when we can own all of our angles and all of our sides and all of our shadows, we can illuminate our light and radiate that rainbow out in the world. But
Yes.
understanding that the rainbow includes every single
Mm.
color, what I call the true joy, and then the not joy too.
Mm.
And when we have those experiences of sadness and upset and frustration because the business deal didn't go as we had hoped, or we didn't have the outcome we were intending, or we didn't hit our numbers, or whatever it is, appreciating that's part of the human experience.
Yes. Yes.
And with joy as I teach it, you can more graciously and more
Hmm.
gracefully
Hmm.
move through, experience that sadness for what
Yes.
it is, or upset or
Yeah.
frustration. But then you get to move back with greater ease
And
and
appreciation.
velocity and
Yes.
appreciation,
Yes.
because I always tell my clients, we learn from the lessons, we learn from the blessings from the past, but everything else stays in the past, and we
Mm.
move into the future
Yeah.
with all of that newfound awareness. And when we
Mm.
have that contrast, that's also when we can get into, wow, that didn't work, I didn't like how
Mm.
that feels, what I really desire is more of this. And
Yes.
just like you said, we refocus on, what do we want more of? We learn
Yeah.
from what didn't work, what didn't feel good. And then we get to move into even greater joy, because what I talk about too is a concept called the deep end of joy,
Mm.
where when you can really experience with love and tender and self compassion and kindness, when you
Yes.
can really allow yourself the fullness of the upset or sadness or
Mm.
despair if things really went awry, it actually expands our capacity to be with the full joy experience.
Yes. I completely hear
Because,
you on that. I completely hear you on that because um, I get waves of depression. It's just part of my condition and it comes over and there's nothing rational about it. You can't be logical or this or that. It's just a state of being and sometimes it's just got to ride its wave. But it's also sometimes that invitation to pause, time to nurture oneself, time to reflect on, what is it something on the outside that's causing this, or is it something that your inside is saying, where's the love for you? Well, it's the time to put that love and nurture on you, because you're always spending it, but you need to regenerate it as well. And I think that, anything that we get that is a crossroads, or it feels negative at the time, is sit and look at it. Don't analyze it to death. Just look at it. Okay. And okay, I don't like the way this feels. Well, what road have I been taking to get there? And the other thing is, what is it igniting inside of me? Right? What am I meant to be aware of? And what am I invited to care for? Because those pauses, as much as how uncomfortable or whatever those situations are at the time, there's always a reason. And when you ask the questions and you reflect on it, you're willing to go through that emotion. That's when you can get that clarification that now joyfully you can move forward on in that enlightenment.
yes. Oh, 100%. I always like to tune into obstacle or opportunity,
Yes.
right? And I totally agree with you that those depression or sadness or loneliness is always an
Yeah.
invitation to tune because there's a redirect happening.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
it's not feeling good, it's an invitation to pause and regroup and then refocus upon what really matters and what's going to really generate and create the outcome that is most serving to you personally and professionally.
It's got nothing to do
Absolutely.
with failure. It's got nothing to do, I did something wrong. Stop persecuting, stop punishing yourself. Is that sometimes we have to go down the wrong road to know which are the right, to recognize the right roads. Or there's a lesson to be learned in that wrong road, or there's this a skill or a technique that you need to learn from it, right? That it's failure for me is something when you don't get back up, when you don't try again, right? Everything else is just a life lesson. And sometimes they could be a cosmic 2x4, right? And they could be hard lessons. Sometimes it's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yes. Oh, and those cosmic 2x4s. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy. I know you've had some to be where
Uh-huh.
you're at in your relationship with joy. And absolutely, I've had some to be where I'm at with my
Yes.
relationship with joy. I truly believe the most joyful people in the world have faced some of the
Mm,
most incredible challenges. Like I think about His Holiness and Archbishop Desmond Tutu in their
mm-hmm.
book and work on joy, Mission Joy, and they
Yes.
talk about all of the challenges they've been through, and then looking at the ripple effect they're making. And I'm thinking about you, Sarah, and the ripple effect you're making. That I know you've had a few cosmic 2x4s in your journey.
We
Yeah,
discover our courage, we discover our abilities, we discover
yeah,
something about ourselves that we didn't know before because we've had to get back up. We've had to face
yep.
something. And when we get through it and we stop and we pause, even if we're out of breath, we look kind of, God, if you told me that I could get through that, or I could achieve that, or I could do that, I wouldn't have believed you. And it's because we've gone through it and we look back on the other and go, wow, if I can do that, what else can I do?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had the privilege of doing a lot of challenging athletic endeavors in
Mhm,
addition to some serious life challenges. And there's absolutely that sensation going,
mhm.
wow, that was amazing. And then I think about how courageous some of my clients have been
Yeah.
in facing their challenges and what they've been able to create on the other side of
Mhm.
that awareness that you're talking about of wow, like the human potential is absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Yes. We sell ourselves so short. We really do. We are so much more than we've been conditioned to be. We're so much more than the old programming, and if we put that old programming aside, as I say, there's for me two types of fear: common sense fear, that keeps you alive, that stops you doing something stupid or, harming yourself. But
Mhm.
the other fear is just simply the unknown. And if you stop being fearful about it, instead start being inquisitive about what you don't know, and wondrous about what you don't know, adventurous about what you don't know, we don't let fear rule. Right? Common sense is with us. It's going to stop us from making mistakes. Let it be your partner. That fear is healthy. But there's other fear stopping us from doing something or becoming what we should become is counterproductive. Put that, hello, fear. I see you. Thank you very much, but you're not needed today. I'm in wonderment.
I love it. Well, fear and desire can't live on the same neural pathway,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Mm-hmm.
run on the same neural pathway. So it's just like what you were saying at the beginning. It's all about choice. And what
Yes.
I often say with my clients too is the reminder that fear is future based.
Yeah.
Is that outcome happening to you right now, or really
Yes.
happening for you right now?
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
even if
Uh-huh.
it is, I know that shift is always powerful too,
Yes.
right? Even if it is happening for us right now, where is there the opportunity
Mm.
to explore what is more? Because I believe this, and I have a sense you're with me too, that we're here to enjoy this life,
Yes.
that we get to have all these incredible challenges and twists and turns. And I like to say, uh, I didn't sign up for the kiddie ride of life. I signed up for the full thrill version, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty certain you did too, and probably most of
And
our listeners
I got the
here.
bonus package. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
with
look,
that in mind,
dive
it's
right
like,
in. Yeah.
whoop, and then and then sometimes it's like, oh boy, I think I need to step off it for a little
Yeah.
bit, and we get
Can
those
I catch
that
my breath?
moment.
Yeah.
Yes, remember to breathe.
Yes.
Remember to breathe. And yet appreciating that,
Mm,
we came into this life experience, and whatever spiritual beliefs everyone listening has, my invitation is to come at it like
yes,
we are so blessed.
we are.
This gift of life, it really is a gift. And
Hmm.
when we can gift ourselves the present moment, first of all,
Yes.
be appreciative of the beautiful people on the screen or listening or tuning in our ears, and we can appreciate that we are in a gorgeous environment wherever we might be, and appreciate the wonderful beautiful souls around us, whatever we're all experiencing. Like, wow, I think
Yeah.
about the fact that, what is the statistic, like us being born is like 1 in 416 trillion chance, like we're all walking miracles.
Yes, we are. We
And
don't
to
acknowledge
be
that.
in
We
that,
don't appreciate that.
appreciate,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yes.
like to come at this life from that, like even if there's devastating moments. And I know, one of my stories, we had a cancer scare with my
Hmm.
son when he was 6 weeks old, but we've also, my husband and I, recovered from seven-figure debt. We've
Yes.
also had a family tragedy. We've also had um, numerous times and places I had depression, and all with clinical depression,
Mm.
and all sorts of opportunities to really be in that darkness we've talked
Yes.
about. And every time I come out of it, I go, wow,
Yeah.
that's right. That really is the truth.
Yes.
The truth is the beauty even in the darkness, but the beauty in one another, the beauty in, I have snow falling outside of my window, the
Yeah.
the snowflakes coming down, and the beauty even in a pouring rain, the beauty even in a big windstorm. I know you have windstorms near
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Appreciating even that. Like, I like to liken joy to wind because it's an invisible force, but it's a heck of a force.
It clears the air.
It
It gets
clears
rid of those
the air.
cobwebs. Yeah.
It blows in more. I mean, if you think
Yes.
about wind power,
Mm.
like
It's
appreciating, there's
energy.
so much
Yeah.
magic when we're willing to even, oftentimes stop and appreciate it. That, the fact that we're communicating this way, even we were giggling when we were first getting on about, the gift of technology,
Yes.
and the fact that we can communicate and have this gorgeous conversation and share it with, however millions of people will get to, but appreciating the fact that, like, what a gift, all of
I
this
know.
breath, this water, this snow, this,
Yes.
I'm looking at your background. You have such beautiful pieces of art and flowers, and it's books, and I appreciate that. And it's like, wow, this didn't just happen though.
Yes.
This is all part of our consciously co-created experience. Ah, and
It wouldn't have
I get
happened
so humbled.
if you hadn't inspired me. I wouldn't have invited you. And that's because I felt your energy. And everything is energy. Do we not want to be around joyful energy? And going back to the dark, I lived in the dark for quite a number of years in my life when I was going through some very hard times, and it was very hard to come out. And I was beginning to become apathetic, which is dangerous. You don't want to be there. And that light
Right.
was constantly calling me. And eventually I followed it out to be blinded by the light when I came out and feel the contours of the shadow chasing me until I realized the shadow and the contouring gave shape to the light. And now I go into the dark. It is my peaceful place because I am the light in the dark. And in the darkness, I can see the clarity that I need to see. And it's become my friend. And that's the thing of the willingness to go through the experience. Yes, you have a certain amount of fear because it's unknown, it's new feelings it's bringing up inside of you. But if you're willing to experience the feelings, willing to
Mhm.
experience what it is you're going through, don't psychoanalyze, just be present with it. The gift of the
Mhm.
present is in the now. Be present with it and see what gift it gives you. You come out the other
Mhm.
side, even if you don't realize it straight away, it will reveal itself of that was a beautiful lesson to learn, even though it may have been a hard one, right?
Yes.
The discovery of self now is the reveal, and that is something to really celebrate.
Really celebrate. And yeah, I feel called to share with you. Like I said I have this entire body of work around prisms, but I love in particular this one prism someone gave to me. It's obviously a
Beautiful.
heart shaped, but
Yes.
thinking about all of, the sides and angles, and
Mhm,
just like you said,
mhm.
you are the light, and everyone
Yes.
listening, you are the light in
Yes.
whatever darkness you might be feeling or
Mm,
experiencing at any point in your career and your personal life, but appreciating when we can truly let it be what it is,
yes.
and even give it a seat at the table. I mean, I
Mm,
recently hosted a retreat and I put a cushion out with a woman who had sadness that she was experiencing, and I said it gets a seat at the table. It doesn't get to drive the experience,
yes.
but it gets to be here. And when we learn to be able to, like you said, be willing
Yes.
to be with it, to sit with it. And that's my concept of the deep end of joy, that it's when we really allow ourselves to go to that depths within ourselves, there's such beauty in that.
I
There's,
know.
I love that phrase, beauty in the breakdown. But then
Yes.
what's even more beautiful is then when you come across other people who might be in that space,
Mm.
then we have the capacity to be with them.
Just
Because I
be
like
that
to
light,
say,
right? Just be that light, be that love, be that joy. You don't have to impose it on them. Just by them being in your vicinity, is
mm-hmm,
that it will find its way through the cracks.
mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if you've heard me before on the 262 when I talked about flawsomeness. It's a word that somebody used some years ago, and I've completely embraced it. And I look at it as this way: all the way through our lives, we're going to be cracked or even shattered. And it's how we put ourselves back together, but we put ourselves back together with love. And then we are this beautiful, flawsome bowl of love that is glued
Mhm.
together with love, that has so much love in it that the cup runneth over. And all those beautiful flaws and challenges and struggles that we went through that we put back together with love, has now become so strong and so abundant
Mhm.
and so unbreakable. Right, but it couldn't have been, it would have been just a bowl, maybe filled with love, but just a bowl. But because it's that crack bowl filled with love, the strength of that love, that strength of that resilience, that tenacity, that reason for being is so much stronger. So embrace those beautiful flaws and those things that happen to you in life, because they're there for you to glue back together with self-love and then become the love you seek, and let that love run off over.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and even while you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that even when we break bones,
Yes,
when they fuse back together, they're stronger where they were broken.
yes,
And just like you said, it's stronger after the break. And now, like, honoring though, we don't need to create the breaks. We
right.
can do that in putting ourselves in challenging situations. Like I've run a 50K ultra trail marathon and I challenge myself in that way, for example. And yet we can appreciate that, like just like you said, it's all part of our story.
Yeah,
It's part of our experience. It's owning and appreciating all of our scars as just more
yeah.
beauty marks.
You know, a lot of people kind of listen to this and they go, well, what's this got to do with business? Everything, everything. We are not, we're changing the pattern, and we have changed the pattern of how business is being done. It used to be profit at the expense of people and planet. And now it is people and planet for profit. And finding that purpose and being that purpose and being that light, being that invitation, being that inspiration, being that joy. People want to do business with people that are authentically being who they are, doing what they're doing because it is their purpose, it is their calling, it is their passion. If they can get up every day and do it for free, right? No, we want you
Hmm.
to get paid, but can do it for free and do it through sickness and do it through challenges, but do it because
Hmm.
this is what you're here for. This is your passion, your love, and you want to share this. Then you're in the right business, and people are going to feel you even before they see you, and before they even
Hmm.
know what you do, they're going to want to know you. That's the
Hmm.
invitation to what you do. So don't put out what you do, and certainly don't put out you will make six figures, and everybody's seen that, done that. It's the old paradigm. It is, why
Hmm.
are you passionate about it? What is it you're so
Hmm.
passionate about it? Can I get some of that passion? Is it something that can serve me?
Mm, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's the energy behind everything that we do. And
Yeah.
that's absolutely, yeah, I'm on a mission to fulfill the vision of a joy-led world, starting
Yes.
with women business leaders,
Yes.
because they are passionate about what they do. They
Mm.
care about their workforce. They care about the people in a whole different way. And I just really believe in feminine leadership from the embodied divine expression
Yeah.
of matriarchal energy that can elegantly dance with the masculine.
Yeah.
And so I'm so with you in the sense of, I know I'm here to be part of that
Mm-hmm.
leadership space, leading from that space, and to inspire other women in that space, because that is what's effective and efficient and what's going to ultimately be fulfilling as well as sustainable. Because
Yes.
just like you said, when you lead with
Mm.
that, whatever, make six figures or seven
Yeah.
figures and blah, 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 like there isn't a substance behind that.
No. It's an outside life, not an inside one.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm so passionate about, just like what you said, women, especially a few men too, but
Yes.
women especially coming into, and my word joy is actually an acronym for just own you.
Mm.
And so that's where I love serving women to come home to owning
Yes.
themselves and their personal expression in the fullest so that they're leading wholeheartedly and leading from that space of, like you said at the beginning, the invitation, and as we were saying, the permission space.
Yeah.
Because when we each own ourselves and lead from that space, that's where, my prism example, that's where we're actually all in community, different sides to the
Mm.
prism.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
then we as a community radiate out in a much brighter beacon of light, creating rainbow ripple effects
Yes.
that are far more effective and satisfying and legacy building
Mm.
than if we just, like you said, the old get the job done, profit first, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like that's not winning the game. It's not
No.
winning the game in our economic systems. It's not winning the game in our political
No.
systems. It's not winning the game in any space or grace for the long term.
No
It might get short.
sustainability and no invitation with it. And as you say, beautiful what you just said there, grace. There's no grace in that old paradigm, right? No grace at all. There's grace in this, in that joy of just being who you are. There's grace in standing tall in what your contribution is. There's grace in owning. Look at the 60s, burn your bra, right? Then the 70s and the 80s, you want to compete with the men, you've got to wear a suit like men.
Pantsuit.
Right,
Yes.
right. And now we look at it, it's like, just be yourself. I remember doing a course one time, conducting a course, and I was wearing a suit. And the person came to me afterwards and said, Sarah, don't wear that suit anymore. And I go, why? She said, it's not you. And I know, I didn't. I bought it for this because it was a kind of a corporate thing. She said, no. So the next day I came in a Sarah, colorful, vibrant, just
Yeah.
bohemian. And
Yeah.
okay, that's Sarah. Right now you've got our attention. And that's the important thing. I have a wonderful thing which somebody else brought up on a show the other day, which I love. It's our body language. So 55% when we walk in through the door is how we present ourselves, how people receive us. What's your
Mhm.
energy? Do your clothes look like you're wearing them or they're wearing you? Is the
Mhm.
whole atmosphere of who you are being invitational, right? 38% is
Mhm.
your tone of voice. Is it invitational? Is it
Mhm.
something that other people want to join in with? Only 7% is that content. You're not going to get to that content unless they have bought the other two things. So don't go in
Mhm.
flashing, the next best thing, because everybody's got the next best thing. It's why they should even listen to you, right?
Mhm.
How they
A hundred
feel about
percent.
you. That's the important thing.
Right, before you even open your mouth.
Exactly. Do you
And
look
that's
comfortable in your own skin, right?
uh absolutely. And that's where I come from with my joy work,
Hmm.
is supporting women to come from that space that they don't even have to say a word and the
Yeah.
energy shifts in the room.
Yes. Yes.
And then when they do speak, whew,
Yeah. Yeah. They have the attention. They've set the stage with their energy. You know, one of the things that I do if I ever do a guest speaking is I have people stand up and take 3 deep breaths, let it all
mm,
out, kind of everybody get onto the same vibe, and then turn to the person left and right and say hello and introduce yourself, right? Shared
mm,
energies. And then when people sit down, what was there 10 minutes ago isn't, they're now present. And then my entire talk would be based on the energy that's in the room, right? So if you want the room to have that positive energy, come in with the positive energy and then help people tune into that energy no matter what's going on around them.
absolutely. I love that. And I'm having this image as you're talking of you in that beautiful bohemian dress.
Used to
and
have the
and
long flowing hair.
oh, I love it. Like I'm just getting this beautiful, I'm a visual person, so I'm really seeing this image of you doing that. And that's exactly why we connect well,
Hmm. Yeah.
because that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's owning all of it. And it's even owning if like something funky went down early that morning. It's
Yes.
like not getting up on stage and pretending like
Hmm.
this perfect thing.
Yes.
It's
You know,
it's owning.
I was going to say own it. Like, I mean, just before we went on, my internet went down because we had the
Mhm.
whole lights went down and because there's a wind out there, which has obviously done something. And it's like, is it going to come back in time? And that's why I say when I do my shows, I own it. So when you get up on stage or you're going to meet people, something happens, don't be apologetic about it. Own it. Make fun out of it. Laugh about it. Don't let it become an issue.
Yeah. No, it's part of it. It's part of those
Yes.
angles and it's part of those sides to the full prism presence
Yes,
that we
exactly.
get to have when we can appreciate that. And that's where, I feel super humbled to say, like the other day I had the lovely woman who helps clean my home came to my talk
Hmm.
and she told me just this morning, she said, Jan, you know what I loved about seeing you live speaking is you're the same person that I see at
Yes.
home when I come to clean your house.
Yes.
And I teared up and I
Yeah.
gave her a hug and I
Mm.
said, oh my goodness, that is the biggest compliment anyone could give me because that's
Yes.
absolutely what I stand for is having that level of authenticity that
Mm.
if I'm standing in because I live in a snowy country. I was Nordic skiing this morning with my dog. That's what I do to exercise and play to get my day started. And I'm standing in my like half ski gear, underwear, whatever, my hair like whatever. And I have like snowflakes on my cheeks still. And she's saying, you're the same person, what I
Mm.
saw on screen and here. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's what I stand for because
Yes.
as you know, like you just said, hey, we can laugh at it, we can make
Yeah.
fun of it, we can, just acknowledge it. We don't have to apologize for it. I
No.
100% agree with that too.
Mhm.
It's this is who I am.
Yes.
And I'm
And I'm
inviting
enough.
you to be, I'm more than enough.
Yes.
You're more than enough.
Yes.
We're more than
Then
enough.
enough.
Like just like reiterating that to all of our listeners
Yes.
with a loving rant here of you are more than enough the way
Mm.
you are.
Yes.
You do not have to do anything to deserve anything. You were born deserving. You were born worthy.
Hmm.
And you're just on a beautiful life journey adventure that you get to explore and discover more.
Yes.
And you have desires in your heart because you're here to explore more, to go
Yes.
pursue them, not to just sit there and worry about them and hope for them. It's go for it, dive
Yeah.
right, see
How do you
what gets to
know?
happen.
How do you know what you can do until you try, right? And don't worry about if everybody in the room gets you or not. Sometimes you're only there to plant a seed, right? Or one or two people switch them on, they'll switch on the others. But oh, there was one person in the audience that didn't like me. Why are you concentrating on that one person? What about all the other people? right? Who knows what that person is going through right now? They just didn't get you because they didn't tune into that vibe. Don't take it personally and don't alter your course because of it. Don't ever apologize for being you. We want you to be
Yes.
flawsomely unique because that's what makes you so beautifully you.
Yes. That 1 in 416 trillion miracle chance that you're even here.
Yes,
There's no one else that can be and do you.
right.
You got to
And it
unapologetically.
and it doesn't matter if
Full,
somebody else is doing it. It doesn't matter because they're doing them. You may be,
yes.
coaching that is there one style of coaching for everybody? No. People that are going to come to you are going to come to you that I like that vibe. I want that
Yes.
energy. I want to in tune that energy. I want what she's having, right? So there's the people that are going to be drawn to you, right? That and the thing is this whole thing that we've got to have the million likes and everybody's got to adore us and get us and this and that. Balderdash. That is far too much societal expectation of what we need to live up to. No. If you have
Mhm.
people say, how many people listen to these shows? And I go, all those that are ready to hear because they're going to hear this show when they're needing it. They're going to hear this show and what it has to say to them. And we say, listen, learn, and
Yes.
apply when they're ready for it. It's out of my control of who listens or how they listen or what they get out of it. All I can do is put out, like with you, loving intent.
Absolutely. And absolutely blessed that, yeah, I agree. It will serve people in the way that will serve them best and with
Yes.
our united intention of love and joy infusion and inspiration. I absolutely know that this energy gets to go into the future and into the past in the most
Yes.
loving manner. And
It's
I
already out
100%.
there.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's so
And those
exciting
that
when I
pick it up will go and find their way to hear what it's all about. That's the important thing that people don't understand what joy is. Joy is, oh, I got a present or I got a promotion or I got acknowledged or I got that. No, that joy is when your compass inside of you, along with your generator of love and energy,
Mm.
is like, yes, yes, right?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's one of the best definitions of joy I have ever heard. And I love that. And what like I said, for me, joy is just own you, but I love how you put words to absolutely the sensation that gets to be
Mm,
had.
hmm.
Because I like to be mindful about the distinction between happiness
Yes,
and joy, because I feel like happiness is a time, a moment in time,
yes,
whereas joy is an
yeah.
experience, and that sometimes it's not joy and sometimes it's that full joy radiance like
Yeah.
you just talked about, and that's where it really is a divine level of consciousness,
Hmm.
almost to enlightenment. It's actually above love
Yeah. Yeah.
vibrationally.
Beautifully. And just, oh, feels so good. And this whole thing about perfection,
Ah,
we have perfect moments, that
mhm,
perfect moment of joy that you just want to bottle. It's that moment, right? And we have it for a
mhm,
moment, and not that it disperses, it's that it's got its peak and it stays with us on a different level, right? But
mhm.
we have these perfect moments in life. Oh, that was just perfect. Or the taste of that was just perfect. Or that experience was just perfect. It isn't about you being perfect and everything being perfect all the time because that's unrealistic and hard to sustain. And also, would you appreciate it? We
Mm.
appreciate those perfect moments as the epiphany, as the epitome of everything. And that's like, ah, the cherry on top.
Well, it's like the roller coaster. It's like
Yes.
you only really feel that high and that whee
Yes.
when you have that contrast of the up
Yes.
and the down. And I'm committed to finishing on the up, so a little bit
Yes.
different than your conventional. But just like you said, like there are these pristine moments where it's like, wow, that was
Mm,
incredible. But
yes.
even we can recount those memories with joy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm called to take this to another layer here too, and appreciating that we can even have that kind of joy in others. And
Yes.
the Germans call it, there's a wonderful word called Freudenfreude. So, you've heard of Schadenfreude, which is, joy in other people's pain, but Freudenfreude is about joy in other people's joy,
Hmm.
or it's also known as mudita in Buddhist. But it's appreciating when you see someone else, like a child or someone else in their
Yes.
joy, like, I am having so much Freudenfreude, joy in your joy, Sarah, having this conversation,
Yes. Yes.
because as you're hitting these new awarenesses and these beautiful words are streaming through you, because I know you are channeling too, just as I am,
Mhm.
because we're having this gorgeous volley conversation of creation and co-creation of an expanded expression of joy.
Yes.
That possibility is available to everyone. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to go and do joy. You can be in the presence, and maybe even people tuning in are sensing this level
Yeah.
of joy and can be in our joy with us,
Yes.
for us, but even more to serve them that much more. And that's where I get obviously so jazzed up
Yes.
and lit up about this conversation of joy, because of all of these beautiful
Nuances.
tiny little
Yeah.
sparks
Mm.
and
Mm.
nuances, but it's what I call the harmony of life. Like, I've replaced the
Yes.
word of looking for balance.
Yeah.
I look for harmony, because it's
Hmm.
like, hey, I consider myself an orchestra conductor.
Oh my God, but
Sometimes a
you,
little bit more on horns, sometimes a little bit less on violin, sometimes
yeah,
a little bit,
you,
more on the drums. And it's like,
uh,
let's bring it in, let's dive in, and let's, dance with the energies and the conversation and the possibilities. And ooh, that was a little bit off, but let's flow into the next
yeah.
piece. Like, that's the way I like to move and dance in life. And I just
I'm
think that's,
laughing because I draw the analogy of the orchestra all the time. I say each one of us is here to discover what our instrument is, learn how to play it. Now, we can be soloists, and that's great. But when we come to an orchestra, each one in our own strength, and choose harmoniously to play together, right? And we then become that symphony that resonates out. We create that joy by sharing our joy collectively. And the orchestra doesn't come together and just start playing. That's where the conductor comes in. A little of this and a little less of that, more of this. And that's when everybody in tunes and comes together, just like any business you're going to have. You're going to meet someone. I want to work with that person. But how you're going to work is the emerging of those beautiful energies, those beautiful instruments of how can we work together and create a harmoniousness that expands out, because everything is about the expansion of sharing the love, sharing the energy, sharing the possibilities, the opportunities, right? And when we come together and we work together in our own strength, but collectively in harmony, that's when that really epiphany and transition happens. So yeah, I draw the orchestra analogy all the time. That's why I was laughing.
I love it. Well, and that's where this is an expanding conversation, just
Yes.
like you said. There is no limits
No.
to the joy we can experience and co-create and collaborate.
Mm.
Why do we keep going for the next thing? Because there's more to expand upon. There's
Yes.
more to explore. And
Yes.
I so love, and that doesn't surprise me, that we have that in common as well, Sarah, that
Mm.
I just so appreciate you and appreciate this opportunity to
My
have
pleasure
our
too.
own duet here.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's about. And no, we didn't take anything, folks. We are it. We don't need substance. We are the substance.
I love the little caveat, and 100% yes. I have water in my mug here. Thank you very much.
I got coffee, but that's fine. But the thing is,
Coffee's too.
joy and energy. I mean, when I was coaching, used to say to people when they say, "I don't know, my heart is broken. I just don't know how to open it up again," and I go for a walk in nature. Hear the wind rustle through the leaves. Let the trees talk
Mhm.
to you, the core of you, as each step you take on the ground. Watch a child on a bike learning to ride. Watch a dog chasing a ball. Listen to the ocean as it laps up against the shore. If you cannot smile, if you can't have those moments of just a
Mhm.
beautiful, gentle smile, then you're not human. Every one of us It doesn't matter how dark a space. The worst thing is our apathy. If we get to apathy, we're in trouble, right? Even if it's still in anger or even in hate, we can find our way to love. But in apathy, it's a lot harder journey to come out of, right? So we don't want to get there, folks. Please find that joy. I know you may have been hurt, and believe me, I've interviewed people that things have happened to them that never should happen to a human being, never should happen. But they made
Mm,
that choice to go through the
mhm,
process of healing, to go through the eliminating the victimization and becoming strong and courageous and purposeful because of it. And who they are today is exemplary of how what we can be despite what has happened to us. They are our illumination, our light in the dark to show us what we are possible of doing. And I
mhm.
celebrate the joy of who they are because what they chose to be.
And that's the invitation here too,
Mm-hmm.
is to continue on that choice path,
Yes.
to choose the slightly, even if it's not more obvious, slightly more joyful opportunity
Yes.
and whatever that next step is. And I so honor the stories that you've interviewed and people who may be tuning in too, of where they may be at or have
Yeah.
recently been through, or maybe it hasn't been that, it's been a while ago, but it's still
Yes. Still with them.
ever
Yeah.
present, that this is also like an invitation and I hope a beacon of light,
Yeah.
that as we're, sharing our joy that is organic and authentic and
Mhm.
extra radiant today, that it may be nourishing to everyone on whatever level they require today,
Mm.
to look for what is that next little spark of joy that can fill up just a little bit, give that fuel to take that next step and explore that next business conversation, opportunity,
Yeah.
and or have the courage to be complete with something. Maybe there's a
Yes.
client they're working with that isn't ideal, or a situation that they have going on in their business that isn't ideal, and just really encouraging to everyone here that, I know we're talking about joy and business and all over the place here, but just kind of feeling called to come home to these fundamental pieces of, we are blessed, we are divinely supported, joy is a gift, choose it.
Yes. We are our own business. Don't forget, the business of you isn't got anything to do with business. It is the business of you. You can't be successful in any business until you've attended to the business of you. Because what
Mm,
you are bringing to the table in everything you do, whether you're working for someone, whether you're working on your own, whether you're wanting to launch something, is people want to feel the passion that you have for what it is you are sharing. But if they feel doubt in you, if they feel fear in you,
mm,
if they feel that lack of joy, but only the anxiety, I need a sale, I need a sale, they're going to feel that
mm,
anxiety and they're not going to feel, I've got something to share. Is it something that will illuminate your life? That invitation is more likely to bring people to the sales table than the other. So we are our business. It doesn't matter who or what or where we are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's like,
mhm.
are you, if you don't take care of your business, it's going to fail. So if you don't take care of you, what do you expect?
100% that, and I love how you say that. It's new to me to consider that the business of you, but
Mm,
you're right. It doesn't matter what product you're selling, it's who you be in that selling
yeah.
of that product. And that's absolutely, as you know, where I come from, of
Yes.
being in alignment with
Yes.
your joy truth, so that you are absolutely in that space of service. Because like you said too, people buy us first before
Mm-hmm.
they buy the product.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people buy who you are in your
Yeah.
business first before they want the product. I absolutely buy that way.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but there's so many times that I'm like, I don't even know what I'm buying, but I'm buying it. Like,
Yeah.
because I want to be in on that energy.
Yes.
I want to be part of that sphere of encouragement and upliftment. And that's what I know that I'm here to bring as our you to
Mm-hmm.
this world, is that, be that beacon of hope
Yeah.
and upliftment, and to help light up others to do the same, because we can't do it alone. We need everyone tuning in to light
Exactly.
up more.
Switch on your own light. The thing is I'm always saying, our thoughts are our data. It's all programming. It's information that we've gathered either in this lifetime, in our DNA. It's knowledge. But the
Mhm,
wisdom and how to use that knowledge is something that you channel. It comes through you as a compass of this is the information, this is the wisdom of how to use the information. It goes to your heart and truth. It's given to your spirit in positive energy, and it goes to your mind to extract what you need to know when you need to know with clarity. Right? If we do
mhm,
not apply the wisdom to the knowledge, then we're only knowledge based and we're never connecting energetically. That wisdom is the divine energy that allows us to connect to the knowledge that is apropos to the moment, right? So we become that wisdom. We work as one with that wisdom. And we come from that intent of a full heart of wanting to bring joy. I used to own a dress shop. So when somebody puts
mhm,
something on and they go, oh, yeah, I feel good in this, right? It's not always, if they say, I just look good in it, mm-mm, that product isn't for you. When they go, I feel good in this, then you know you've found the right one because it's all about
mhm,
feeling. Yet we've been taught so much, especially in the last 30 years or more, of put your feelings aside, stop being emotional, right? Who do you
mhm,
think you are? I'm saying you are a beautiful, enriched, abundant soul needing to come into full bloom. And everything you've
mhm.
experienced and everything that you are is what we are needing of you. So don't suppress, don't apologize, and don't deny the essence of who you are.
Absolutely. And I love the imagery too of the dress shop and the women and because how many times, especially as business leaders, do we take an action because that's what we think we should wear,
Yeah,
using the
yes,
dress
yeah,
analogy, and it doesn't pan out?
no.
It's because we were not energetically aligned. And just like you said, that space of coming into wisdom and knowledge. And the
Mm-hmm,
only way we can get there is when we really allow ourselves to be all of who we are, to open up that channel
mm-hmm,
of wisdom and awareness and intuition
mm-hmm.
and true delight.
Yes,
Because that's how we know we're actually on the right path, is when it feels really great, just like
yes.
today's conversation. Like, oh, I
You,
knew 100% when you reached out. I'm like, yes, this is going to be amazing. And it's felt that way the whole time.
I
And
mean,
so I
do we, are we just joy or do we feel the joy? And when we feel the joy, do we exude the joy? Joy is just a word until we feel it, until we feel it, and then we become it, and then we exude it, and we want to share it because you cannot feel joy and keep it to yourself. When you feel
It's
joy,
true.
you've got to
That's
share
so true.
it.
I know, it drives my kids nuts. They're like, Mom, they're teenagers. Do you have to embarrass me? I'm like, but that scarf looks really pretty on that woman. I
Yes,
have to tell her.
exactly.
Mom,
I
you're
know.
right. We
I know.
have to
I get
share
this from
it.
mine
Well,
too. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
They're
so
just
good, but
words until
that's
we
what,
put feeling with them, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't be
But
afraid to
that's what
feel.
gets to, and that's what gets to come through though,
Yeah.
when we let ourselves feel all of it,
Yeah.
all of it.
All of it. Every bit of it. Ups and downs. It's okay to even, if you're meeting with a client, and just say, look, I really want to be 100% here for you right now, but I, just had an experience and I'm going to own up to the fact and allow that other person to be empathetic, to be compassionate, and in them feeding you, you have ignited energies and bringing back to joy because you've honored them with your vulnerability. What a
Mm,
beautiful gift. You've invited
mhm,
them to be an energy that you're needing at the time so you could be an energy for them. That is a gift in
mm.
itself. Don't go in with a facade that everything's hunky dory and they can feel it, they can feel
Yes.
off and they think, well, is it me? No, go
Yeah.
in and go, I've just had this experience where I'm feeling this today, and own it and invite that person to be a part of the solution. Isn't that the beautiful dance?
That's such a beautiful dance. And I love that you brought in the big V. the vulnerability, because I've recently come into the concept of maskless leadership.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's, I feel like that's probably a conversation for another time, but just that appreciation of drop the mask, be
Yes.
here wholeheartedly,
Yes.
let your joy lead. But part of that is acknowledging the not joy that's in the room.
Yes.
And that's where you can get to have a real conversation with your clients, with your employees, with your prospects, with your mentors, where you can come into a place of, and partners, we can come into a place of real co-creation and collaboration in
Even
what
if you
gets to be
fart,
possible.
right?
Yeah.
Farts happen, folks. Okay. And the thing is, don't try and suppress it and go, oh, I shouldn't have had those baked beans for breakfast. And like joy out of it, because everybody does it at some point, right? And the thing is we've got to lighten up. We think that when we're in business, we've got to be this business professional person and all of that. And it's like life happens, we happen, and the more real we are, the more
Yes.
real we are, without again the apology. And I mean, obviously there's discernment, folks. Don't take it too far the other way. But that decorum of self, right? But lighten things up. And sometimes just a damn good belly laugh breaks the whole thing and puts everybody on the same vibrational field.
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily say go in with a fart, but if it happens, own it. It's a
I love
senior
you got
moment.
that in. That is beautiful because it's so stinking true.
Yes.
Pun intended.
Absolutely. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
it shoot happens, right? And the thing is that somewhere along the line, everybody's had that's something they shouldn't have eaten at lunchtime, and it's
Mhm.
we've become this, as you said, the mask, the facade of what we should be, and everybody right now is sick to death of fake people, fake news, fake anything else. If you can't be real with me, why should I give you my realness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. True.
There's a certain joy when you finally accept yourself for who you are and go, I love me in all my flawsomeness. I know I have some
Mm-hmm.
idiosyncrasies and some things that are quirky or whatever, or maybe I shouldn't do or shouldn't be. But I know me, I love me for who I am. And there's a certain joy in being able to say that, especially in my age, because I'm 69, coming from that life of expectation of what you should be. You can only be important if you're this. You can only be popular if you're that. You can only be listened to or this if you do that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
that was something I used to buck a lot, caused a lot of disruption in every business I went into because I always unknowingly kind of put a spanner in everybody's works for them to shake them up. That seemed to be my role, the disruptor of that. But it is so refreshing just to go, I am who I am. And if I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. All right. There's somebody else that's that your cup of tea, but it doesn't mean I need to alter myself to be
Right.
something else, because there's somebody else out there that will share their joy with me and we'll be joyous together. There is no one size fits all.
There is no, and I love the cup of tea. I'm married to an Australian, so I have a lot of tea. I enjoy my tea, would
Everybody,
enjoy my
I'm British. They think I should have tea, but I'm a coffee addict. So
well, I like I like coffee too, but just appreciating that too, like that loving reminder.
yeah.
Even as you said it, I just got this wind of freedom.
Mm.
Like it's
Mm.
freedom for everyone to sit
Yes.
here and say, I'm not the cup of tea for everyone,
Right.
and you're not the cup of tea for everyone.
No,
So go find the cup of tea or cup of coffee,
exactly.
or maybe it's a matcha or a
Yeah.
hot chocolate,
Exactly.
or no,
Whatever it
not
is.
even a
Oh,
hot
this
drink at
glass of
all. But
scotch. I don't care what it is, right? There's
right,
somebody out
but
there for you that will match your joy and your energy. We're not here to please everyone. The moment you
right,
let go of that, right, there's
yeah.
such a sense of freedom. As I say again with the podcast, how many people listen? I go, all those that are ready to hear, right? It's not up to me. It's up to whoever, it's out on all the platforms, but whoever hears is those that are meant to hear. And if people want to judge me by how many listeners I have, I don't even look at that. I don't even look at that because it's out of my hands who listens. I just put it out. That's what it's about. That's what my job is. Look at what we're meant to do. What people do with what we give them is up
Mhm.
to them. That's their free will. The big
Mm.
thing is in business, don't be dictatorial.
Mm.
Right? You could be a
Mm.
director as long as you're allowing the person in the production to be themselves. But the moment you start dictating how people should be,
Yeah,
then you're losing connections.
absolutely. Yeah,
No
over
joy in that.
controlling. No doing that from any side.
Yes.
The person who feels like they have to be in that space,
Yeah.
and then the person who are receiving it. It
Yeah.
doesn't work for anybody.
No.
It's not sustainable.
No.
So,
No.
whew.
Okay. And then, it's like you come away with a bad taste in your mouth and you kind of come away feeling that, just everything about it was wrong. And so that's, really, really important is that by being true to yourself, even if you walk away and that client isn't for you, I guarantee they're going to talk about you and refer you to someone else because of the way you made them feel. Maybe they're not into your service, but they
Mm,
liked you and they will refer you because you made them feel good. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? Don't look to that. There has to be a sale on everything. Sometimes it
mm,
is about
mm.
seed planting.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, really standing in that space of not just faith, but knowing,
Mm,
with
mm,
that energy of just showing up as your best self in all of you, being all of you,
yes.
farts and all, cups of coffee
Absolutely.
and all.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and that, but that's where it's showing up with all of you. That's the wholehearted I talk about in my work, as
Hmm.
much as the joy, the wholehearted
Yeah.
aspect. That's where it keeps growing. And that is where the relationships are built. And
Yeah.
that's where surprising people and opportunities seemingly drop in like out of the blue, when really you've been energetically planting those seeds like you were talking
Yes.
about. That's truly what gets to happen
Mm.
with coming up from the space of joy that we've been talking about all this time.
I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody can't answer their why are you doing this? And they can't answer it, then they're in the wrong why, right? For you, I'm automatically assuming that the why is based everything around joy. You want people to feel the same joy that you feel in their own way and in everything that they do. That why are you in business if it's not joyful to you? Right? If it's not joyful and it's painful, it's the wrong business, mate. Find something that brings you joy.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that really is, because I know joy has served me in business and personal life
Yeah.
to move through the most challenging spaces, to
Hmm.
get back up again. Like you said, failure is not getting back up, but to get back up again and to reconnect with that bigger purpose and
Hmm.
understanding that, yeah, this really great feeling that you and I have been sharing this whole time. And even now, we're not at the like height of joy, but there's this
Warmth.
undercurrent
Hmm. Hmm.
of joy that's real,
Yes.
that's raw.
Yeah.
And when you build business from that space,
Hmm.
that is where there is a lasting effect for all. And that is where, it's more than just business. it's
Yes.
it's being a world and a divine, a citizen of the universe, even
Hmm. Hmm.
of
Hmm.
impact and influence, and the realization that, the old phrase, what you dish out is what you get back.
Aha. Yeah.
That invitation is here and now,
Yes.
of absolutely, and that is my why.
Mm.
The vision of a joy-led world,
Yes.
starting with me, starting with you, starting with
Yeah.
my kids. Like, I
Yes.
am constantly inviting them into, how can we look at this differently? Don't
Mm.
skip over the upset, and how can we look at this differently so that it serves you in moving forward?
Right.
And
I,
that's what I do with my clients.
yes. Like, I mean, the why they're into something. I mean, how many people start off with doing something and then when they get into it, they go, no, really, this isn't really what I want to do. And I don't care how much money or time you've put into it. If it's something that you realize it's not really what you want to do, you are following some sort of expectation, and just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I should do it, right? And you want to pivot and change directions. Pivot and change directions. Everything that you've gathered along the way, you can now apply to something that really is more heartfelt, that really brings
Mhm,
you more joy, because now
mhm.
you really will be successful because it's coming from the joy base.
Absolutely. Yes. And uh, in my work, I've met so many clients that are in pivots, whether it's
Mm,
because they've recently completed a tenure at a company and they're moving into just a new expression, and recognizing that there's more than the
mm.
money, there's more than the accolades, there's more than the stuff.
Yeah.
And appreciating that, just like you said, that joy piece has got to be there if you're going to
Yes.
stick around. And that whatever that next expression is, and I mean, I know I'm in gazillionth evolution of myself, and I'm sure you are too, and appreciating that the joy that I teach and lead and guide, it's just owning you in this moment,
Hmm.
because the you in this moment is going to be different than the you a moment from now.
Yes.
And so practicing that presence and being
Mm,
available to the wisdom that you were talking about, that divine wisdom that drops in when we're open channels, so that we can apply the now
mm,
expression of joy to that now knowing of knowledge, to be able to build whatever that business is, or philanthropic endeavor, or combination thereof. It's when we can really stand in that appreciation of that evolution of who we're being called to become and grow into and
mm.
expand into more of,
Yes.
without the mask,
Yes. And
but with full heart showing.
again, I mean, we have on this week a doctor who decided just not to be a physician anymore because it became
Mm,
too restrictive. They weren't allowed to look at different mediums of treating people. Everything became, no, you've got to do it this way. You can't do it that way. And he said, well, then I'm not going to do it at all. And he's gone into a totally different medium around health, all
mm,
stemming from the engagement and the presence of our mind into connecting to our heart and soul, using things like tapping and all of that, but the awareness of who you are, where you are, what the problem is, and getting to the core thing of it. Did everything that he did before, was that a waste? No. He's taken all of that knowledge and applied it into a new
love
direction
it.
at
Yes,
57. Right? I started this
awesome.
at 57. We're never too old. It's never too late to pivot in another direction, right? And go with what your gut tells you to go with. No, this doesn't feel right. Just because I can do it and make a good living out of it, if the joy isn't in it anymore, then why am I doing it? What's really calling me? What makes me smile? What lifts me up? And why am I not doing that? But sometimes you need someone to show you, right? I'm not getting any joy in everything you're just explaining to me. I'm getting methodical, right? But where's the joy? What really switches you on? And for them to even just in a conversation to suddenly discover, you can hear the octave go up, you can feel the energy go up, you can feel almost the shortness of breath as they describe it, right? They've just stepped into
Mhm.
joy, but they don't recognize it. So it needs someone like you to point out, do you realize you're in joy right now?
Mm, yes. Yes. And that's my honor to be a guide in that
Mm,
process. And sometimes a lot of our work starts out with shedding all of those shoulds, shedding all of
yes,
those contracts
yes,
and those old identities that say I should show up a certain way or be a certain way or wear the pantsuit or
yes,
whatever version that is, for each one of my clients. But sometimes it's a lot of shedding to be able to uncover that brilliance within, the diamond within.
yes. The passion
And
within, because
and
that's the joy, isn't it? The passion,
yes,
right? The
the spark.
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
When people are talking from that place of enthusiasm and joy, the entire body language changes, the voice changes, everything about them changes. But when somebody's just talking about, from a place of just knowledge. It's dry, it's not connective. But when somebody's talking from that place of passion and conviction and their own self-joy, it's
Mhm.
intoxicating. It's like a drug. You want more of it, right? And I want people to get addicted to joy. Real joy, not
Yes.
fake joy, real joy.
No, authentic, lasting,
Mm,
soul nourishing,
yes.
heart connecting joy. And that's absolutely what I stand for.
Yeah. And you bring that joy to people to discover their joy. They then create that joy, and everything they do not only serves the client, but it has that ripple effect of a happy client that now has raised their vibration. Now their joy is escalating out. And this is how we actually heal the planet, by everybody stepping into their joy in everything you do. If you enjoy just being a housewife and a mother, absolutely, it's one of the most important jobs in the world, right? Can treat it like a job. It is a career. If you want to start your own business because it's something you are joyful about, do it. If you're in corporation and you want to bring about change that is more joyful, yeah, you may have more wind facing you, but hey, salmon swims upstream. You can do this too if the passion is enough, because it is the
Yeah,
passion and the joy of why you're wanting to do it that they will buy first before they buy what it is you're wanting to do.
100%, 100,000% on all those fronts, or whether you're running your own business or just stepping into having sold your business. I have a
Yes.
client in that space. So appreciating wherever you're at in that
Mm.
sequence, but understanding there's so much more when you embody your joy.
Even all the problems, all the hardest things that you feel, how do I get through this molasses? I'm swimming through molasses. How do I get to the other end? I just feel like it's becoming quicksand and swallowing me down. Well, the joy is you can look up and still see the sky. There's still hope, right? It's always looking
Totally.
at what the hope is, what the possible, because even if it's just there and it feels like everything is hopeless, if you feed the hopelessness, you will be hopeless. But when you feed the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities and the joy and the gratitude of what else is out there, then you start
Mm-hmm.
seeing those solutions coming about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like believing in the sun behind the cloudy sky.
Hmm.
It's still
Hmm.
shining.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see it right now doesn't mean, it's a gloomy day. Well, sometimes that gloomy day is a different reflection. If you're out in the sun all the time, then, that's also not good. So we need contrast in life, right?
Absolutely. That's the full rainbow I stand for.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A word I
Oh,
want to, what does gratitude mean to you?
gratitude for me is really coming home to the heart of deep appreciation, deep thankfulness, and deep gratefulness of just how great everything is.
Mm,
And, and coming into the connection of almost like a humble awareness
mm,
of without this thing, or I feel such gratitude for you right now, Sarah, and our listeners, the humble awareness of this happened because of
mm,
you, because of the audience that was calling forth this conversation.
mm,
And for me, gratitude is such a heart space of
yeah,
truth and the foundation of more.
yeah,
So gratitude for joy, gratitude for this expansive conversation on joy, and gratitude for where the joy gets to go and everyone who's listening and how they're going to get to apply it.
yes. I
So
mean, you've
delicious.
certainly had your dark times. As you said, your son was diagnosed with cancer at 6 weeks old. And but the gratitude is where you are at now, right? So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
we're going to get things that come along that feel like a gut punch.
Yep. Or that cosmic two by four you were saying. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And it's like you feel like the whole world has just swallowed you up. But then
Mm,
it is our attitude of what's possible. What can I feed through this? How do I get through this? What do I need to, what do I need to feed to generate the right energy to get through this? And then what
Mm.
becomes of it afterwards? Because as hard as things are, and of course, anything happening to our children, right, is the worst, absolute
Yes.
worst, or grandchildren in my case. You
Mm.
always feel so helpless, but never ever underestimate the power of loving energy. I always kind of white light energy, and that sharing of that energy. It may not be seen, it may not have a monitor, but that positive energy out to whatever the situation is will always help navigate and guide you through it.
100%. Yes. Whew, such truth.
We can get through anything, as hard as it is sometimes, and it's harder when it is kids, obviously.
Mhm.
When it's
Mm.
happening to us, we kind of go through our emotions, but then we battle on. But when it happens to someone else we love, or a vulnerable one, or an innocent, then it is so much harder. But that's even more the time that we've got to step into that gratitude of being able to find a solution, the gratitude of being able to see things differently, feed things differently. And yes, it's a hard one. That's the challenge, to feed it in those darkest hours. But in feeding
Yes.
that, that's when the light really can find its way in.
So true. So true. Yeah. And to have a thriving, healthy boy now and
Mhm.
daughter too. We just didn't have the cancer scare with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such gratitude, even for every choice that I made
Yes.
to find the light
Yeah,
through
exactly.
all that darkness. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And as I said, with a child, that's kind of one of the darkest moments you're ever going to have, is the scare with a child. But then looking at who they are and what they are today, right? And that, yes, medical intervention, etc., but without the loving, positive energy, right? Never underestimate your loving, positive energy. And in business, you're going to face times that feel like the gut punch, or the cosmic 2x4, or the darkness. And it's all a question of, yeah, take stock, take a breath.
Mhm.
If you have to grieve a loss, grieve it. But what are you going to feed now? And again, don't dictate, because it doesn't matter what our minds want to dictate, that cosmos has a different agenda. It's just feed the possibilities, feed the energy into, please make this what it is meant to be, in all its joy for me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's joy. I like to say joy is the fuel,
Yes,
the vehicle, and the destination.
yes,
And
yes.
that really, it's the joy, follow the joy, and then everything else comes.
Joy equals love. When you're in joy, you're in love. It's the absolute feeling of love. That's what joy is. And when you find something joyful, you are with love with it. And there is no greater experience than love.
Well, and I'm called to say it's like what Eckhart Tolle says, that words are just a signpost to something more. And
Mm,
I know you were talking about that earlier, about the feeling of joy and the feeling of love. And we can all use whatever words come to us to
yeah.
define that thing. But I think what we're talking about here, it doesn't really what we call it.
Yes.
Joy, love, connection, inspiration, gratitude. It doesn't matter what words we choose. What matters is that we're willing to make ourselves available,
Yeah.
to allow and receive it,
Hmm.
and then to give it and share it. And
It's not
that's
not doing it, it's being it. Anybody can do it, but when you are being it, that's when you are that ripple effect of loving energy. When you are it, when you become the love, when you become that energy, when you become that joy, you are it. That's so powerful. It's so powerful. And it opens so many doors, and it ignites happiness in so many people. What we really want to achieve, it doesn't matter what business we're in. Don't we want to have happy customers?
Totally. Right? Like that's the fundamental of business is happy
Yes.
customers. And, I just want to share, like I have so much hope. I have hope for this conversation. I have hope. You actually made a comment about corporate before, if I can just share really
Yeah.
quickly. A couple of weeks ago, I was blessed to co-facilitate some of my joy and wholehearted leadership work with a corporate group. I was pulled in by the high performance coaches with a very high level multi-million dollar global leadership team, and they wanted my joy work
Hmm.
as that context, that foundation through which they could have the
Yes.
conversation
The foundation. Hmm.
for the performance pieces.
Yes.
And they absolutely said it shifted the energy and the ability for all of these leaders coming together to relate to one another
Mm.
and to hear each other
Yes.
and to create new conversations and visions and stories together of
Yes.
where they get to go and grow as individuals and as leaders. And so I'm just called to say, because I know we've been here probably close to time. We've had such a juicy conversation, but
Yes.
just appreciating that there's so much pocket of this
Mm.
spark of joy or love or whatever words we want to use to describe this sensation we're talking about.
Hmm.
And there's more to come. But to know that it is growing and it's popping up and
Yes.
it's being
Yes.
appreciated and it's being sought out. And there's just like, there's this whole new possibility in our world. And so I'm so thankful to you saying yes when you were 57 to creating this podcast, and that you're still going strong,
Almost
hot
12
grandma,
years. Yeah.
and to rock it out. And I just want to underpin what you said too, is that it's never too late
Never.
to own your joy,
No.
to just own you, to live and love fully, and to express it, if it's through business or through your expression in your family or philanthropic or
Yes.
community or whatever it looks like.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing and everything you are being, right?
Go be it,
Yes.
and be it all the way.
All the way. No holding back, right? No apologies, just be it. If you're too much for one, you're enough for another. It is just be it,
Mhm.
and you will find your audience. As you said, being in corporate, where they generally their structure is so very, very rigid and very kind of goal orientated, in other words, sales orientated, for you to insert, but where's the joy? When you step into the joy of what you're doing and why you're doing it and whom you're doing it for, you have just elevated everything about your work and the way people receive you. And that's the important thing, because everything is about efficiency and the bottom line, but without the joy, what bottom line? What bottom line? You've got a whole load of numbers on a page, but where's the joy? The companies that people want to stay working at, I don't want to leave this company. I love who they are. I love the way they make me feel. I love the way they appreciate me. I love coming here every day. Those are the people that you want, that kind of workforce, right?
Yeah,
So you've got to create a joyous platform in which for them to come and work and pour their hearts out because they feel appreciated and they feel joyous in their contribution.
totally. Absolutely. Yes. And that's what gets created in business and in life, and then to
Yes.
ultimately build an inspiring legacy. Because
Now,
that's what I have found too. So many of my clients care about too.
yes,
What is this
absolutely.
all for? What am I building for? And what gets to happen after I leave?
Yeah.
I want to know that I made this life count.
I planted the seeds that keep on growing, right? That's what we want to know. When we've gone, those seeds are still growing all on their own, because they're being watered and nurtured by other people along the way, and that we can't plant enough of that, and we need to plant so much more of it. And it's up to each and every one of us. Find the joy in everything you do and everything that you are. Then you are seeding that joy and for generations to come, and that's the important thing. Now, I know that you've got a free meditation, Joy-Filled Leader meditation. So tell us about that and how people find that. And also, how they find you, because you've got 3 sites here, and what is the process for someone to come to you if they're looking as a solopreneur or corporate or anybody? How do they book you? What's the process?
Well, the way to kind of dive right in right away is at joyfilledleader.com. So JOY filled, FILLED, leader.com. There's the opportunity to receive my joy-filled morning meditation. So it's about a 10-minute or so meditation to start your day off right. And you can already
Mm,
start to tune into some of the energy and wisdom that was channeled through me to me as for myself first, and then I've shared it with my leaders.
mhm,
So that's one way to get started instantly. And then if you go to my website, just janhoath.com, janhoath.com, you can already tune in and see a little bit more about me. But there is a book now opportunity if you want to book a call with me, and
mhm.
we can connect and look at what it would mean to bring joyful leader mentoring or facilitation to your company. And I would be delighted to just hop on a call and explore together what that could look like specifically for you.
You've also got janjoymentor.com as well. Um,
I do.
and you're on Instagram under your name, Jan Hoath, JANHOATH. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And so everything is there. So it's a great way to start off. Um, a lot of people, if you 10 years, 15 years ago, or certainly 30 years ago when I was doing this, to talk about joy in business, it would be, who do you think you are? What are you on? Right. And now we want everyone to be on this beautiful drug of joy that is naturally induced by the passion of what you are doing and who you are. And that the more joy that we actually insert in our lives, in our business lives, and in each other, more that it's going to tilt. I mean, the scales are already tilted. More and more people are embracing this higher consciousness. More and more people are going, why am I feeding the hate? Well, what is it getting? It's the same old pattern of just death and despair. I want to feed love and light and hope and possibilities and opportunities and wonderment of where we can go as a human race. And if we come from a place of joy in doing that, joy in the journey, it's not about the destination, folks. I say a lot, I used to be the hare and I had a vision and I wanted to make it happen and get to that finish line of it's done. Now I've become the tortoise and I'm enjoying being the tortoise of gathering people and gathering knowledge and just building a lovely tribe along the way. And it's just so much more appreciative. So are you going to be able to switch on joy tomorrow? Who knows? Find something, one thing to be joyful about and then just feed it every day and watch it expand and expand. Choose positive living by choosing to feed the possibilities. Yeah, negatives knocking at your door. Go, hello, how are you? Sorry, we're not open for you today. We're open for the possibilities. We're open for the joy. And that's what I'm going to feed. And just let it grow, right? Let it grow. But you need Joyous Jan. You need her to help you recognize where your
Mhm.
joy is, because she'll get that joy out of you, I promise you. And just being in your presence will bring out the joy in you because so many people don't know what makes them joyous. They don't know what makes them happy. They've been so duty bound, right? And
Mm.
so should bound that they don't know. So they need to
Mhm.
be around someone like you that switches that joy button on. And this is what you've been missing. This is what's been undercurrent like a volcano ready to erupt. Let it out. Let it
Let
out.
it out. Yes. And I would be honored to support anyone to really let that beautiful passion and life expression that only you can bring.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help. Absolutely. Let's find your ultimate joy together. Yeah.
We need you to be joyous. The world needs you to be joyous. You need yourself to be joyous. Right? This
Yes,
is
your
this is
family,
what feeds
your everything.
everybody. We all benefit so much more. That does not mean that we don't know what reality is or that bad things don't happen. It's again what we choose to feed. how we choose to look at things, and how we choose to be grateful for the good things in life that bring us joy. So keep joy alive. It's so utterly important in life. Absolutely. Thank you so much, love. It's been an absolute delight having you here.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in for our joyous engagement here. And it's really been delightful and an honor.
Remember, you are the joy you seek, you are the love you seek, you are the light you seek, and it's not about what you do, it's about who you are being. Step into your beingness because you are enough. We need your light. Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.